Hello there, everyone. How you doing this Super Sunday? It's February the 18th here, 2024. So, are you warm, happy, enjoying tropical weather? Oh, wait. I don't know where you are. It's wintertime in the States, isn't it? My apologies. Stay warm. I'm down here in Panama. Tropical country. Paradise. Sometimes I used to say a long time ago when I was a police officer, I did this for several years sometimes, I would say, oh, it's Justo otro día en Paraíso. And people are like, what's that mean? And I probably didn't pronounce that right, but just another day in paradise. Paradise is where you make it your own paradise. You can be anywhere because it's all up here. Make wherever you're at your own paradise. So anyway, with that being said, if you saw the title, if I title this what I think I'm going to title it, is I have complete confidence that any of you out there, any of you, all of you, if you want, can become a millionaire. So where am I coming from? Why am I saying this? All right, I am Mazske Finance. Like I said, I'm coming to you currently from the country of Panama. I'm not a financial advisor, not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, nothing at all. I'm just a blue collar guy who has made it to that 7-figure net worth. I'm not at 8 figures yet. Give me time. Give me time. So, and here I am with my daily cup of green tea also. Well, my first cup of green tea. Some days I drink 2 or 3 cups, some days just 1. So with that being said, why am I saying I'm confident you can become a millionaire? All right, I'm just talking to you. You watching this, I am talking to you. All right, I'm going to tell you where I came from. And I'll tell you where some other folks came from, kind of, sort of. And I'll let you know what you got to do to become a millionaire or a multi-millionaire. All right, going back in time, I was one of 5 children. One of 5. My dad was a firefighter. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. All right, growing up, looking back on it, especially when I was young, times were tight. I remember eating mayonnaise sandwiches. Mayonnaise, put it on bread, eat it. I used to eat tomato sandwiches. I loved tomato. Tomato with the mayonnaise was like, my goodness, that was tasty. We didn't have ramen noodles back then, you know. So, and what else? There was days as I became 11, 12, 13, and I'm starting to grow and I'm hungrier. I'd open cabinets up and there's nothing there hardly. And my mom would be like, payday's in 3 days or 5, whatever it is, you know, it's coming, then we'll go shopping. And it's like, man, you know, we weren't poor, but it was a little rough. As I got older, it got a little better, okay? So at a young age, I realized at some point I needed to work. I needed to work to bring in income because I wanted stuff. So I first started cutting grass, I think around age 12. Just something small, neighbor's yard. Somebody told me about somebody who told me about somebody, and I was cutting some lady's house, and I don't think I ever met her. You know, I remember, but she paid me somehow, so however that worked out. I don't think I met her. All right, I trimmed bushes. I did a variety of different things. Okay, that was when I was young, 12-ish, 13-ish. Then I got into my 14s, my 15s. I wasn't driving yet. I did a couple things. Oh, I know what it was. I saw an ad in the newspaper one day for a guy that was looking for help. He had a small farm. He was looking for some help. So I called him up. And I was probably 13 or 14. And we're talking. And at some point he asked me, how old are you? And I said, whatever age I was, I said it. And he's like, well, how are you going to get to my house? Because he lived, I'm guessing, where I grew up at 6, 7 miles away. And I said, I'll ride my bike. And he was like, on the phone, he was like, all right, we'll give it a try. Can you come on Saturday? I said, yes. What time do you want me there? Whatever it was, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And I made my way there. And I worked. I remember that first day of work, he had a small farm, not gigantic, small. And he took me into his barn. Downstairs, he had stalls down there in the lower level, and he had guinea hens or something like that. And he wanted me to clean the stalls out. So I cleaned them out. Whatever I had to do, I cleaned them out. And I remember I had to throw the stuff into a wheelbarrow and push it through a field and dump it into the pile that he had. All right. I guess I worked well enough that first day that he told me to come back. So as I came back, I did other stuff. I cut grass, I raked leaves, I fed the animals. Um, I chased a black snake a couple times. I got banged in the forehead by a goose once. But he also had a ram, a male sheep. And as I was pushing the wheelbarrow through, because I had to muck stalls always. What else did he have? Did he have horses maybe? Yeah, horses. One or two horses. I had to clean stalls. And pushing the wheelbarrow through that ram, he'd be down in the field and he'd see me. And he would come charging. And the guy had told me, his first name was Doug. I didn't call him that, I called him Mr. Such. He told me, he's like, watch out for him, he'll butt you. And I was only 120 pounds, 110 pounds. And I didn't want to get butted. He knocked me on my butt, and then what would he do? I don't know. So then I would turn the wheelbarrow, and I did this happened multiple times. I turned the wheelbarrow towards him, and he'd just be butting that wheelbarrow with his head. I'd see little drops of blood up there, head butting me. And the guy sometimes would see it, he'd yell at it. It was Bucky, I think, the ram. He'd come running down, he'd kick that ram in the head to get him back off. Okay, because he was a grown man. So anyway, I did that for a year or two, and the guy, he treated me well. He would give me a ride home sometimes. He had a Suburban. He put my bike in the back and he would give me a ride home. So I didn't ride my bike. And I didn't mind riding my bike. I was a kid. All right. But anyway, from there I worked on 2 different horse farms. And one horse farm I only stayed there a week. I was creosoting fences. Creosoting fences is not a fun job. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this for a reason. And then I worked on another horse farm. The first one was an Arabian horse farm. The other one, which was expensive horses. The other one was just a horse farm. The guy it wasn't the biggest, it wasn't the most expensive one, but it had 20 or so horses there in stalls, had a ring outside. And the one lady that worked there, she had to teach me several different times to dig out the wet spot. And I've referenced this before in videos a long time ago. With a horse, when they urinate, it's powerful. You got whatever you got in the floor, it's soft. And she said you had to get down there and dig it out. Dig that wet spot out. Because if you left a little bit of moisture in there, the horse's hooves, if they stood in it, it would start rotting. It would cause trouble. So she would teach me. She would demonstrate it. And I tried to do the best I could. I was still a kid. To dig out the wet spot. While I worked there, I was bitten on the shoulder by horses at times. They didn't mean any harm, but they're big teeth and big mouth. I had to work a rodeo one time where I was running out into the ring, getting horses or whatever I was doing, setting up barrels, whatever I did. So then I transitioned from there because the owner fell in hard times. His first name was Billy. He fell in hard times, and one of my paychecks bounced, and I was only 50 or 60 at the time. And because the bank told me I had to repay the money and pay a $15 fee or something like that. And I was like, that's my paycheck that bounced. And I was not a happy camper. But I got reimbursed for it. I transitioned from that into landscaping. Worked landscaping for the next 3 years. I worked it while I was in high school. As a senior, I was 16 years old when I started my senior year. I graduated when I was 17. I went to school for 2 or 3 classes. Half a day, less than half a day. I was out by 10, 11 in the morning usually. And half time, I looked at my report card recently. I was late 50-something days that year. And I missed a buku amount of days. I only had 2 or 3 classes, and one of them was PE because it was a required class. Because I was working. I wanted to work. All right, I graduated high school, like I said, when I was 17. I was still working landscaping. I was making good money. Good money. I worked a lot of overtime, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I remember I was making sometimes $400 a week take home as a 17 or 18-year-old. That was a lot of money back then. We're talking about back in the 80s. That was a lot of money back then. Sure wish I knew then what I know now. So anyway, by the time I was 19, I was out on a job site one day. I think I was 18 at the time, pushing 19, might have been 19. Leaning on my shoulder, or my shovel. Just leaning on, not that high up down here. It was muddy, it was dirty. I was always dirty because working in the dirt. And I looked around, I was the youngest guy in the group. The oldest one was probably 25. One guy was 30-ish. And I was like, I can't keep doing this the rest of my life. I got to do something different. It woke me up. It was like a light bulb went off. It woke me up. And fortunately, I was young. Because my back was hurting. It was twinging. Because, there's so many holes you dig after a while, your back hurts. So it woke me up, and I realized I got to do something. I have to make my life better. No one is going to do it for me. I have to do it. I took the ASVAB test for the military. I talked to the Army. I tried to talk to the Air Force, and I talked to the Navy. I ended up joining the Navy. Okay? I spent a year up in Great Lakes, Illinois, and then I got stationed here in the country of Panama. 20 years old coming to Panama. It was fun. All right? But at some point in Panama, I had a roommate. His first name was Tim. He was older than me, probably 10 years older than me, probably 30. He was married, had a couple kids, but they weren't here. And he started talking to me about mutual funds. That spiked my interest. I started going to the library, Money Magazine, Kiplinger's. I'd always read the newspaper, so I was looking at the newspaper. USA Today, we get that, down here in Panama. Back then on the military bases. I started looking at the stock pages. I had never looked at stock pages before. And I was trying to figure out what did all that stuff mean. I didn't have the internet back then. I was just trying to know. I didn't have anyone I could ask. I didn't know who I could ask. I could probably have asked an older person. They would have told me, but I didn't know. So I opened up mutual funds, and I then, by 1999, that was in 1989 or 1990, by 1999, I found the Motley Fool, started buying individual stocks, and in January 2017, I bought my first rental house. Okay. In 1998, I became a police officer making $23,000 a year. I retired in 2018, topping out at $52,000 a year. So why am I, if you're still listening to me, why am I saying with complete confidence that you can become a millionaire? Because you can. If you're new to my channel, you might be sitting there thinking, come on, Mazske, tell me the nuts and bolts. Tell me how I got to do it. It doesn't matter if I tell you how to do it. Everybody and their brother out there can tell you how to do it. But until you do it, until you take that first step, until you take that initiative, and you're going to get knocked down, you're going to get kicked, you're going to struggle, it's going to be hard, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. Some of you it might not happen, but most of you put up here, it's going to happen. But you keep plugging away. It doesn't matter if you're 17 right now. It doesn't matter if you're 30. It doesn't matter if you're 50. It doesn't matter if you're married with children. And like me, one paycheck covers your mortgage and your second paycheck covers all the bills. It doesn't matter. If you make the decision that you want to improve yourself, by golly, do it. Do it. Now, in a nutshell, how do you do it? Start saving money. Start making money the most you can at whatever your chosen profession is. Work overtime, work a second job, work a third job. Watch my playlist, Interview with Others. Justin was on there recently. He's in Kentucky. He's in his 20s, youngish, and he's gotten like 16 or 18 units in 2.5 years, something like that. And he grew up poorer than I grew up. And this was just recently he's done this. How is that? Has he done it? He referenced in his videos, an interview with him about almost an hour long. He says he still, I think, works 2-3 jobs. Part-time, full-time, because you gotta do what you gotta do to improve your life. Don't whine, don't cry, don't put yourself in a pity corner. Do what you gotta do to improve your life. All right? So you start working and making money, and then spend that money wisely. And an old saying is, pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, pay yourself. Put it in the bank, put it in a high yield savings account with the intentions of investing it. Yes, there are ways to invest with almost no money. That's a more advanced strategy. Okay? Just start saving money. Can you save up $100? Can you save up $500? Can you save up $1,000? If you can, and you remember I said I started at 100. If you can, you just keep doing the same thing you've been doing. That 100 will turn into 1,000. That 1,000 will turn into 10,000. That 10,000 will eventually turn into 100,000 if you keep saving it and don't invest it like in a house. Because when you buy a house, you pay a down payment. When you buy a rental property, you pay a down payment. When I say a house, I'm talking about a rental property. Right now, I own 20 some houses. I own mineral rights. I own a part of a pipeline. I own part of a tequila distillery investment. And I own some stocks. But I do not own the house I live in. I'm renting a house right now. Knowing what I know, that house sometimes, it's a noose around your neck. It's a yoke on the shoulders. Because you're struggling, you got to pay the mortgage, the furnace blows up, you got to buy a new furnace, the roof goes bad, you got to buy a new roof. Money's tight. But if you rent, your landlord does it. He pays the bills. So look at rental property. I've said this 100 times. The easiest way to become wealthy, to become a millionaire or multimillionaire, is to start buying rental property. Because when you get your first one, the ice is broken. You've done it. Congratulations when that day comes, because you've bought your first rental property. It's harder than it's not as hard as it looks. Okay? But it's a process. It's a learning process. It's a learning curve. I can talk to them blue in the face and tell you every single step to do, but until you do it, it's daunting. It's intimidating. All right? But once you do it, once you get your first one, you start renting it. Rinse and repeat. Remember I talked about you save that $100 and you get $1,000? Well, now if you did it and you successfully ran your numbers, I need to make another video on running numbers. You run your numbers, you got positive cash flow. Now you save up a little faster. And you buy your second one. And see, now when things start happening, when you get your first, you get your second, things start happening. Because now you're learning. You've learned the game. So that 2 becomes 3, and that 3 becomes 4. Some people get stuck. Life gets in the way. Kids get expensive, spouse, car breaks down, whatever. Just things happen. Okay? Oh, I had a message pop up I'm going to respond to soon, so I need to start wrapping this up. Sorry about that. So things do happen. You will get derailed. Just get yourself, don't let it permanently derail you. Get yourself back on track, refocus, and head forward. Always move forward. When I moved to Florida before moving to Panama, it derailed me a bit. I got myself back on track. When I moved here to Panama, I moved to a foreign country. It derailed me a bit. I'm back on track now. That's when the messages popped up. I'm back on track. All right, I'm ready to proceed forward. All right, you can do it. You can do it. All right, just have faith in yourself. Don't tell me I'm full of it. Have confidence in yourself. Learn how to do it. I'll help you if I can with advice. But no matter what I tell you, you have to do it. No matter what anyone tells you, you have to do it. All right? All right. You might have said, that's it, Mazske? You haven't given me the nuts and the bolts. Go look at my playlist, interview with others. Scroll down the videos on my channel. There's a lot of information in there. I've said before, I have given away the keys to the castle. I have told in my channel every single thing anybody needs to know, pretty much, to become a successful investor. So that's why I'm confident saying you can become a millionaire / multimillionaire. And along the way, stay healthy, start eating wisely, make good choices, choose good friends, have a good circle around you. If you have negativity in your circle, I know it can be hard because that negativity might come from family. Start pushing them out. Bring in positivity. All right? Bring in positive folks. And everybody has a negativity on them at some time, so don't, just because someone's negative one time, don't throw them out the window, you know. But if someone's continually bringing you down, back away from them. Don't get in a fight with them, just back away. And change your life. One day at a time. One day at a time. And maybe one day we'll meet up. It might be on a beach here in Panama. It might be sitting by a fire up in Boquete in the mountains. Maybe it'll be down in Panama City in some restaurant. Maybe it'll be in Cartagena, Colombia. Maybe it'll be in Barcelona, Spain. Maybe it'll be up in Seattle, Washington. Miami, Florida. East Machias, Maine. Biloxi, Mississippi. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Somewhere. We can sit, have a cup of coffee if it's early enough in the day. Have a cup of tea at any time. You know, sip on a brewski maybe sometime. If you so desire. If you don't, we don't. I'm flexible. My pool pump started up. Pool looks inviting. All right, I got a message on here I got to respond to. All right, sorry about that. I ramble at times. Hopefully you picked something up along the way in this long video. You can do it. You can do it. Have a great day. Mazke signing out.